So when we announced that episode 8 was in production, we had a little video that we showed of you basically recreating the scene between Mark and Daisy at Skellig. So can you talk about that?
Yeah, that was a really surreal way to start the whole thing out. So it was when we started coming up with, I started coming up with the story, I realized that I wanted to, I didn't even really think about it, the notion that we were going to end up breaking kind of a long-standing Star Wars tradition, and for the first time, this movie is going to start right where the last one left off. Because it's like, I don't want to skip ahead. That last moment of 7, I want to see what happens next. And so just because of the demands of the story, that's what it ended up being, which meant we went back to Skellig, and we were only able to get a couple days of shooting there, and it was months before we started principal photography. So it was really the first thing that we did, and it was a very surreal, the island itself is this amazing, it feels like you're stepping into a history. It feels like there is something very mystical and magical about the island. Rick Carter had described it to me before I went there in his very Rick Carter way. And it's a very Rick Carter place. It's like an incredibly mystical place. So to be there and be the first thing that we're shooting is Mark and Daisy standing up on Christ's saddle and on Skellig Michael, and it was just so, I don't know, it was appropriately surreal beginning to the whole experience.
And this was before anyone really knew that moment would become so iconic in the world. So wow,
that's good.
I
was not so paralyzed by fear.
Let's talk about working with some of the classic cast. Before we go into that, I just want to understand what your level of Star Wars appreciation was going into all this, and then what it meant.